Hello everyone, today we reconstructed my 2967 official FMC mean that I got at World's Prep Palisades 2025. This beats my former PR of 2967, so I was pretty happy when I got it. Okay, so starting out on the normal scramble, you can notice that there is this pair here and this square, and you can make a square with F prime in one move like that, and the edges here. So if you saw the edge with that with D2, R2, that is a 3-move 2x2x2 block. After you do that, you have this pair here, which could be pretty good. And I ended up using this pair to make my next square. So you have the red-green edges here. So you first, because doing this moves this pair out of the way, you can either do F prime and that to make a square, or you can do F2. And I did F2 because it ended up being better. So then you add this to here, and it is a pseudo 2-2-3. After that, there's this pair here, but nothing really here gives anything good, so I decided to knit back to the normal scramble. Okay, so here we are back on my normal scramble, and as you can see, you can solve that 2-2-2 in one move with a U prime. And now, if you look at EO with green front, the bad edges are here, 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 and here. So if you do L prime F, that solves EO in 2 moves. Then you have this block and this pair here, and there's a few ways you can solve it, but what I ended up going with is I move the edge with U, L, U prime to put it up here, and then you can make this into an F till -1 by moving the block here, doing an F2, and moving this back. So that's F till -1, and then here, I just decided to solve the edges with L2, D prime, L2, D, L2, and that leaves 2C, 2C in 21 moves. Okay, so here we are 3 moves into our skeleton, and the moves coming after this are U, L, U prime. Now you can notice you have this corner here, and you have this interchange of R, like that. And if you solve this corner with U, L, U prime, R prime, U, L prime, U prime, the ending of this commutator was U, L prime, U prime, and then afterwards is U, L, U prime. That all cancels out, and that is 6 moves canceled for this commutator, giving 23 to 3 corners. Okay, so here we are pretty deep into our skeleton, and you can notice that the move after this is an F move. So if you do the interchange like this, D, and then do F prime, U prime, F, D prime, F prime, U prime, F, the F and the F cancel one move to give F2. Unfortunately, that's the best thing you can do here, and you can't really cancel more than that, which is a bit unfortunate. So that ended up giving me a 30-move solution for that first solve. Okay, so here I am in the second scramble, and you can notice that this doesn't really look too good, but there's this nice block continuation that you can do. So you do R, U, B prime, D prime, F. That is a 5-move 2-2-2, and it makes this pair. And if you do U, L prime, U prime, L2, that gives a 9-move pseudo 2-2-3, which is pretty good. However, as promising as that start looked, it didn't end up finding me really anything good at all. And with the EO counts being horrible and there being no other really good block solutions, I wanted to try and find a unique solution that would kind of do EO, but not really. Okay, so again, we're on the inverse scramble, and as you can see, if you count edges, bad edges for orange front, you have here, 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 and here. So what you can do is, if you want to get some of the bad edges out of the way, you can do B prime R, and that leaves you with 2 bad edges for orange front, and it saves you with this pair. So it looked pretty promising. Along with having 2 pairs, you have a 1-move square like that. So this start could definitely give something pretty good. Additionally, you can also substitute that B prime for a B, and you get the same outcome. Okay, so here we are on the normal scramble now. I nest back, and you have this pair here and this edge here. So if you do U2 F prime, like that, it makes a square and it solves to this edge. So that is a pseudo 2-2-2 in 4 moves. So I knew that doing U on the inverse scramble would solve that block, so with that knowledge, I continued back to the normal scramble. Okay, so here I am on the normal scramble once again, but with this block solved. And you have this 1-move pair, 1 move like that with D, and you have the edge here. So if you do B2, L2, B prime, you solve that pair, so that is a 2-2-3. Okay, so if you continue with that start, you have this pair here. And if you solve it like that, 1 move, and then do this to insert the edge, then you get F12 -1 and this pair here. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't really find a way to insert this pair and get 3C, so what I ended up doing is I ended up solving all the edges by just doing that, and I was left with of 5 cycle, or 5C. So this is in 17 moves, which is pretty good. Now, unfortunately, I lost the papers to what I did for the insertion. However, I ended up missing something pretty good. So I ended up doing 8 minus 2 and 8 minus 2. So I found something that would cancel 2 to get to 3C and then cancel 2 off that 3C. But unfortunately, there is a way to do 8 minus 2 and then do 8 minus 3 afterwards, which would have given me a 28 move solution, and I missed that. It was pretty findable, and I'm a bit disappointed that I didn't get it, but 29 is still not bad for me. Okay, here we are in the last scramble. And as you can see, there are 2 pairs here. However, the pairs are in horrible spots. Any way of solving these pairs would lead to a 6-move 2-2-2 at best. And all the continuations were, well, really bad. As you can see, there's no pair of that obvious one. On top of this, although there are not being too many bad edges, the EOs for them were all really, really bad. So I didn't end up having a lot of good options for this scramble. After that, I decided to check some EO starts, despite them not being very good. So as you can see, with green front, the bad edges are here, like so. So you can solve the first 4 bad edges by doing R prime D F, and you can also do D R prime F, but this ended up being better. So that reduces to 2 bad edges right here. And if you do B, L, B prime, that is EO in 6 moves, which is generally pretty bad, and I didn't want to use this until I realized just do an R, and that's a pseudo 2x2x2 block, which is really good. There is this pair here, but I couldn't really find anything off this, so I ended up missing back to the normal scramble. Okay, so here I have my normal scramble, and as you can see, you can do a U prime to solve this block. However, I didn't quite do that, because there's this pair here, and so I wanted to preserve it. So what I did is I just did an L to move this pair out of the way, and then did the U prime, and now I have 2 pairs off this, by just adding 1 extra move. There are a few ways to continue here, but the way that I found worked best is the corresponding edge to this is here, so I can move it to the top like such, and then you pair this. That is a pseudo 2-2-3. Okay, so here you are on my normal scramble once again, and of course you can do a D2 to solve a 2x2x3 block. However, this square just so happens to show up. I didn't do that on purpose or anything. So you can solve that. So that is F12 minus 1. Then there's this repair that shows up. And when you insert that, you get this, which is just sexy sledge OLL into a PLL skip. And on top of that, if you insert the pair, you can cancel into the algorithm. After I saw this, I was in disbelief because for that bad of a scramble, I didn't expect to find anything that good, and I knew I probably just found a sub 30/PR mean. On top of that, I only found this in about 25 minutes, so I was pretty shocked. Overall, I ended up getting a 30 for the first solve, a 29 for the second solve, and a 27 for the third solve, which gave me a mean of 28.33 moves, which is my PR mean. Overall, pretty happy with this. I did miss a 28 in an unfortunate way on the first one, but I think this is pretty good for me for now. Thank you all for watching. Goodbye.